When I flew to Russia, I was expecting a relatively normal trip, but I could have never imagined what would happen next. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I am Manuele, and if you don't follow me already, I am a mindset coach and I talk everything about mindset transformation, subconscious reprogramming, and everything about building an unstoppable mindset. And today I want to talk about something that is not really related to the topic, but is something that was the catalyst, we can say, for my mindset transformation, for my personal growth journey. So everything starts in August 2024. I organized this trip to Russia, to Saint Petersburg, which is a city that I always wanted to visit for many years. So it was like a dream coming true. I left from Italy on the 14th of August, and I arrived in Tallinn, Estonia, and me and my friend crossed the border via land, which was the fastest and cheapest way to do that. So we arrived in the evening, and getting in was surprisingly easy, actually, despite the geopolitical situation, let's say. I don't want to talk about it, but the whole thing certainly made the trip a lot more interesting as well. But that does not even come close to what happened in the trip. So, I was with my friend who I went with. We were planning to meet with another friend of mine who is actually from Far Eastern Russia, the Khabarovsk region. I will put an image here so you can see. And she has been an online friend of mine for 2.5 years, something like that. We literally had such a coincidence that we found out that we were planning a trip to St. Petersburg at the same exact time, and we found out, I think, 3 or 4 months earlier. So we formed our group of 4 people, and we spent a couple of days together. And now also, my friend I went with actually left after 3 days, which I still have no idea why. He told me originally that he had this medical appointment, this medical emergency, but after he left and he went back home, he blocked me on basically every single social media, every single game even, like every single platform you can think of. He blocked me there, and I have no idea what happened. If that is the truth, it doesn't make any sense, because why would you block me? So that's another thing that I really don't think I will ever have an answer to, but that's okay. I was left completely alone in Russia with these 2 Russian girls who lived on the complete opposite side of Russia. So also coming back was pretty interesting, because I was completely alone crossing the border, and it was an interesting experience, I have to say. So for the entirety of the rest of the trip, it was just me and those 2 Russian girls. We visited so many places together, which include the Hermitage, the Nevsky Prospect, which is the most important, the main road in St. Petersburg, the Kazansky Cathedral, the Church on Spilled Blood, a huge military museum, and many other things. I will also, by the way, put some photos that I took here, so that you can see, you can have an idea. So for most of the time it was the 3 of us, but with time something actually started to develop between me and my friend. And while we were all of 3 of us together, usually me and my friend had some little moments when we were just the 2 of us. And at some point we both eventually found the courage to say that we actually liked each other a lot. That we were both slowly falling in love with each other. And it was absolutely beautiful. This was, I think, 1 week in during the trip. I stayed for 2 weeks and we had the opportunity, the possibility to live this beautiful, seemingly perfect love story of about a week in Saint Petersburg. It was intense, it seemed to me that God had sent me my wife, literally. I don't know how. The good thing about something so intense is that it is fun, of course, but the bad thing is that you get so attached to the highs, you idealize the person so much that you literally do not see any flaw whatsoever, even if it is so obvious, which is exactly what happened to me, in short. So we had this beautiful romance story of about a week, but then I had to come back to Italy, she had to come back to the Russian Far East. None of us wanted it to end then and there, which now, looking back, it would have been the better option, but hey, we can't go back in time. So we tried having a long-distance relationship, which was heartbreaking, because we met in real life, we loved each other in real life, and now we were forced apart. It was basically psychological torture. Also, with 9 time zones between Italy and the Khabarovsk Krai, which is insane. It is literally insane, and I'm not surprised it failed. But how did it fail exactly? Well, I was so in love with her, she also seemed to be, but definitely much less than I was with her. To keep it short, after a while, when things got tough in the relationship, when the so-called honeymoon phase ended, in one of those moments when you kind of feel apart in the couple, and the thing that you need the most is communication, and one of the two shuts down completely and disappears. That's basically what happened. At some point, she suddenly disappeared for 4 days, and I would not hear anything from her, except from maybe like 5 or 6 messages per day, and one photo that was super lazy. It was a very sharp contrast with the before. And of course I understand if she is busy, but even not telling anything and literally disappearing how she did is very weird. And then she came back from those 4 days, 4 or 5 days, I'm not sure, and she started saying that I should set up my own life and she should do the same with hers. So in short, in 2 days from that moment, she told me that she wanted to break up. But she never ever mentioned that there was any problem whatsoever. I was just doing what I thought was fine. The only time when she told me something was wrong was when she told me to break up, basically. Which is unfair, cruel, and unacceptable, especially because communication was the foundation of our relationship. Because if you cannot communicate, you first of all should not be in a relationship at all, I think. Absolutely not in a long distance one. That's unthinkable to me. And so slowly but surely she revealed more and more of her personality, and she showed that she really didn't care. So at that point I started waking the fuck up, even though earlier I have been almost begging her to, I completely lost my self-respect and my self-worth. We had a lot of calls where I would just keep opening my heart to her and just show her that, just try to communicate and actually understand her and make me understood, but she just didn't care, wouldn't change her opinion one bit. She had taken the decision to leave me and abandon me a long time before. And nothing I could ever do could change that, and I was fucking desperate. But finally I started to understand that she was really a walking red flag, so I started moving on, even if slowly. So I kinda woke the fuck up a little bit, but not entirely, because also the breakup, by the way, was in October, I forgot to mention, in mid-October. And at the beginning of November, I started this self-improvement journey. I started investing in a mentor. By the way, shout out to Hugo, you are amazing, and you helped me so much, so immensely, and I'm so grateful that I met you. So as I was saying, I invested in my mentor in the middle of November, and my ex's birthday was also in the middle of November, and a very weird thing happened, because I wished her happy birthday in a way that was too dry for her. I just literally wrote happy birthday. She got offended, she took it personally, and from that moment she completely cut me off from her life. She stopped wanting to talk with me at all, and I got demoted to follower, we can say, which yeah, it was something that really made me feel abandoned, discarded, and I don't know, like, I really think that I reached a new low in that very moment when she completely cut me off from her life, despite me already started working massively on my mindset and investing in a mentor. These dry birthday wishes that I literally just wrote happy birthday. Nothing more, no emoji, not anything. But it was also something that I think was a subconscious reaction to the way she treated me with time. We can say to the many times where she slowly but surely pulled away and detached herself emotionally. So I think my subconscious wanted to punish her, we can say, by giving those dry birthday wishes. I think that's possible, that's entirely possible. And this thing about her birthday, I think, really shows that she was never as mature as I thought she was. She made emotional and impulsive decisions. She overreacted, but she never really apologized for it. I mean, she apologized, but not sincerely. Like, I can feel it. I can feel it was not sincere at all. After that, we basically never spoke again. We just had another argument, I think, something like 2 days later. But after that, we never talked again. I am convinced that she was just waiting for the perfect moment to cut me off from her life. Her reaction was something that destroyed me and destroyed my momentum as well in my personal growth, which is also something that I cannot forgive. I remember I was devastated. To this day, we haven't talked much. I remember I blocked her, and then she contacted me on another platform, and I unblocked her, but then she never bothered to talk to me. She just wanted to know why I blocked her, and she didn't care about making things right or anything. So, like, she's not serious. And by the way, something that I mentioned in the previous video, she brought me to such a low point because I started blaming myself. She made me think we could be together if I was different, if I was a different version of myself. So, for example, the confident, dominant man type. If I was that type of person, I could be with her. I wouldn't have no problem being with her. But considering that I am still not at that point, I was still very, very far from that point, that brought me to such a low point to have so many dark thoughts. So in short, this is why the trip to Russia was supposed to be just a normal trip. I expected to have a completely normal trip, which would have been more interesting because of the isolation, the sanctions, the politics of it, I guess. But eventually it was nothing compared to what happened there. But anyway, I think I can say that I'm very grateful for all of this that has happened, because this trip, this relationship, this weird relationship was the catalyst that I needed to finally start my business, start my personal growth transformation. I can only be grateful and thank God for everything that has happened. I am so grateful because I understood so many things about relationships, so many things about human psychology. I understood and learned the hard way that raising your standards is the most important thing you can possibly do in your life. When you stop tolerating certain behaviors from people, when you stop tolerating certain situations, and when you start demanding more from yourself, that is when real change begins. And also I feel very comfortable in sharing this thing, this aspect of my story with you, because I think I should be as authentic as possible, as personal as possible, to share as many things about my story as possible. Alright, so that's the story of how my trip to Russia changed my life. It didn't just give me memories, but it literally gave me a whole new mindset and a whole new purpose in life, which is building this business and coaching people to transform and elevate their mindset. So if you enjoyed this, let me know with a comment and let me know about some trip or some experience that changed your life as well. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more mindset content and for daily insights especially. И спасибо за просмотр. Братаны, до свидания.